Good morning or good afternoon, depends on where you are in the country. This is Matt. This is Drew with Senior Home Business Channel. But we're talking today on Thursday is our TSL live show. So, Drew, we're going to kick it talking about Tour Senior Living. I've been excited about the movement, been excited about the energy. We've got around 22, 23, 24 partners right now across the country. I don't know the exact number. We just added one the other day in North Carolina. So a shout out to Kelsey. Really appreciate you. Our vision is to have 100 partners by the end of the year. So we're going to be knocking that out. And so we're going to be talking about all the benefits of TSL today. If you've been following this Thursday live show, the last 4 weeks, we have had partners on here. We've had one, John Hines from Alabama. Now, correct me, Drew, I might get one wrong, but Patty from Tennessee. We had Ben and Crystal from Louisiana. And who am I missing?
David from Houston.
David from Houston. Sorry, David from Houston. We just had him last week, man. You would think maybe my short-term memory is not as good as the long-term. Maybe I can remember 3 or 4 weeks ago and can't really remember what happened yesterday. So, yeah, David Hampton from Texas and Houston, Texas. So you can go back and look at some of those. If you know any loved ones, anybody that needs assisted living, memory care, independent services, please reach out to those individuals. They've got what you need, man. We're going to talk again. What makes TSL different today? We're actually going to showcase some things on the screen, so stay with us. This is not just hype. It's not just, look at us, purchase this. Now, if you want to inquire about it, there's plenty of links down below. You can go down and, Drew, watch a TSL webinar. Of course, all the webinars are free. I don't know why people say free webinars, but I guess they're all free. Maybe, I don't know. Does anybody charge for webinars these days? I don't know. It's free. But you can go down and schedule a consultation call with us and all kinds of stuff down there. So, Drew, let's get to it, man. We talk about this a lot. Is TSL, it's kind of the Zillow of senior living, man. What do we mean by that?
Well, essentially, we're trying to present information to people in a way that's familiar to them. And you've seen the popularity and the rise of Zillow and even all of the other real estate websites you might see like Redfin or Trulia. They all kind of have this same format. And we've got TSL pulled up on the screen here. And essentially, Zillow has cracked the code about how people want to look at properties and, in our case, communities and that they want to move into. And so we're kind of taking their formula and applying it to senior living.
Oh, I love it, man. I love what we're going to talk about with this because something I've been thinking about for about a year now, not all the different components, Drew, I have to give you full credit for that, man. You brought a lot of the technical things to the surface that I could have never thought of. I just always thought there was a little bit better way to do the business, right? And I've said this before, but in the mid to late 2019, I started to do more of an online approach. I mean, this is not TSL back in 2019, but just a little bit different than the traditional approach. And I started doing that because it was accommodating my clients. It was accommodating the residents, that it was easier for them to meet me online. It was easier to see a virtual tour than schedule 8 to 10 physical tours, right? Now, you still have to go out and do a physical tour when you select a community. You'll have to sign their contract, and you're going to want to see where mom's going to be laying her head at night, right? We all get that. But what TSL does so powerfully is it takes care of a lot of this preliminary work, a lot of the stuff that, we take for granted, I guess. I mean, when I get leads, Drew, it's usually coming from a skilled nursing facility and somebody calls me or the social worker faxes over a face sheet. And so that starts the process, right? Then you have a conversation. You're listening to their story. You're doing all the different things we know in this industry. If you're a senior placement agent, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, and you're inquiring about it, drop down and click the link, man. We're not going to tell you everything on this channel. This is the free information, right? But that's how the process starts. And so then you have to meet with the individuals, right? Whether it be your office, whether it be a Starbucks, whatever. And then you're going out and you're showcasing these different communities based, hopefully, if you're doing it right, based on mom's ADLs, behaviors, interests, preferences, and all the rest. So, but what TSL does so powerfully, they're able to see this all up front. And they're able to see not only pictures and not only see a video, but they're able to contact the community and the agent themselves, right?
Yeah, that's right. So like we can take Westmont or Fresno here, for example, or Maybe here, I'll scroll down. There's one that has a 3D tour down here at Carmel Village.
Carmel Village, man. They did about
Yeah.
12 move-ins the other month. Boy, they're rocking it.
Wow. It's a beautiful
Great community.
community.
Great. If you're watching this free information, that's a great community. So I probably lost
Yeah.
some move-ins on that because people are gonna be calling them. But it's
Well, what's cool about this is that if I'm a family and I'm browsing around, I'm like, okay, Carmel Village looks great. I love the photos. I can take a 3D tour and kind of look around the community itself. I have two options here. I can either call Carmel Village directly to book a tour, calling this number, or if I want Matt's support, maybe I want a placement agent to
look at
come
that
on the
ugly
tour
mug
with
up there, man. I mean, I might need to change my photo because people might just look at that thing and I ain't calling that guy. Shoot.
We'll get you some AI enhancement.
That's right. We need some, yeah, but please put some hair on my head, take the gray out of my beard, and we'll be looking good.
Whatever you want, we got you. But yeah, so they can call you, Matt, or they can send a message. So they can call you directly, or they can call Carmel Village directly. And I think that's what makes this really different than some other listing sites that you might see online. PlaceForMom, you call the number, you think you're going to reach Carmel Village, but you're actually hitting their Place for Mom's call center.
God, you ever done that?
Oh, yeah. I did it one time for my grandfather. This is years ago. I got 35 phone calls from different communities the next day. My phone
we got the best
overheated.
food, the best care, the best food. We got the best everything. Come see it.
You know what's interesting too on that because you call the phone number, you talk to the call center. It was an hour-long phone call. I had a stopwatch. I spoke for 5 of those minutes. The lady on the other end spoke for 55 minutes. And essentially all she was doing was reading the amenities of various communities to me over the phone. Yeah. And it just felt, it felt like going back in time. You know, like you think about how people shop for homes. If you're in the market, you want to buy a new home today, what do? You hop on Zillow, you check out what's in the area, look at photos and videos and stuff. Go back 30 years ago to 1995. How would you shop for a home? You'd call up a real estate agent and they would verbally describe the home. Sight unseen. You have to go in for an open house or an in-person tour. And it feels like a lot of the senior placement agencies are kind of running in that 1995.
Oh, they are, dude. I mean, even the franchises, no offense, franchises, love you, appreciate you. I know you might not like me, but it's okay. It's all good. But they're still running their business based on 2010, 2015 strategies. A Place for Mom came on the scene in 2000. They're still doing the same playbook. It's kind of like sports, man. Even like NFL or anything you may follow, people have to adapt. They have to adjust. I mean, just because it worked 15 years ago doesn't mean it's going to work today, right? It doesn't mean it's ineffective. Let's say you get the Eagles, right? The Eagles do what is that called? It's slipping my mind now. The tush push, man. They get in there and they've been doing. They started that 3 or 4 years ago or something like that, and now people are trying to get rid of it and all because they can't figure it out. They can't do it as well. What do the Eagles do? They actually adapted and adjusted and say, you know what, based on the strengths, based on the personnel we've got on our team, this is what we're going to do. And if we get anywhere close to the goal line within a yard or two, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. When we got a quarterback that can actually, I think he squats like somewhere between 650, 750, 850, something. I mean, it's a great, incredible number. So you get a strong-legged quarterback with everybody else pushing it from behind. Nobody can stop it. So my point is, forget the football rant. It's just that in senior placement, it's no different. You've got to be willing to be on the cutting edge of not only technology and adapt to AI, which TSL has that. You've got to be willing to adjust because I'm afraid, Drew, that too many people are stuck in the past. Too many people, even our own students. I mean, we got students in 35 states across the country. Not putting anybody on blast today. If you guys are hearing this, I love all of you. But some of them have still just bought into the traditional way of doing things, and it works today for them. We've got students that are making a lot of money. Yeah. However, I think going forward, you fast forward 5 years from now, if they keep doing what they're doing, they're going to feel it. Things have changed.
And we've lost leads doing it the traditional way of trying to persuade people over the phone about these communities. They're really great communities. Take my word for it. I'm trying to paint a verbal picture for them in their head, and then they lose interest, or they're like, I'm going to do my own research. They get online, they get sucked into a Place for Mom or caring.com, and we've lost that lead at that point. And so I think it's really important to give families the information in the format that they want the information, which is they want this kind of Zillow-like experience where they can do their own research. They can see for themselves, narrow down their list from having to go hop in the car and see, 10, 15 communities to.
Oh, who wants to do that, man? God,
who wants to do that?
Jump in. Let me hold you by the hand. Don't be holding my hand. I'm married. That's good anyway. Yeah. But I mean, I love this number 2: empowered families, empowered agents. So the agents, you guys, the traditional way of doing it, you're thinking, how can you be empowered? How can you be more effective? Because you're such a great person. You love seniors. You love families. You just want to do the best for everybody. And I love and appreciate that about you. However, if you don't consider the family's interests, desires, wants, all that, you're missing the boat. What TSL does empowers the families. I've said this before, Drew, and it's worth saying again. If it was me, and let's say you were the senior placement agent, and a social worker gave you my name and number for my dad, and you called me, I'd have a conversation with you. However, being as maybe stubborn as I am, I don't know what you want to call it, I just want to be in control. And I would say, Drew, I really appreciate the information. I appreciate the feedback. I'll keep your name and number, and I'll get back to you if I need you. And what I would want to do in my real estate appraisal days would come back in my 20s. I'd want to go out and say, okay, let me pull up all the communities. My dad needs assisted living, so I'm gonna pull up all the assisted living communities, and then I'm gonna figure out what's the 3 best. And then I'm personally going to investigate, research these 3 communities, and I probably will just stop by. I wouldn't even schedule a tour, be honest with you. This is how this person thinks, because most people think, oh, let's schedule a tour. But what happens when you schedule a tour, the communities always, which they should, put their best foot forward. And so when you walk through the door, because your scheduled tour is at 10 a.m., everything's hunky-dory. Somebody's up in the foyer laughing, playing checkers over there, got a little concert going on. You're like, woo, baby, this is awesome. Don't schedule the tour. Drop by. And drop by maybe 8 o'clock at night if the doors are still open. Very different than 10 o'clock in the morning. Go when the executive director is not there. Go when most of the marketing directors are not there. Stop by and see. That's what I would do. I'm not saying everybody should do it that way, but there's a certain person, a certain character out there like me that would want to do it this way. And TSL empowers not only the agent to do it correctly and advance their business, expand their business, but it empowers the families. And I love that about it, man. I don't know. Yeah. It's just empowers.
What you're saying, Matt, is something I notice generationally too. Is when we were helping the silent gen and some of the baby boomers, they were more open to that handhold approach of working through a trusted agent, broker type experience. Yeah. But at the Gen X millennial families that we're helping nowadays, they have a different style. They like to do their own research, see all the information, and kind of guide their own decision.
Yeah, I mean, you look at billboards, you look at other forms of advertisement that's out there. You look at that generation you just mentioned. They don't look at that stuff, man. They go right to their phone. They pull up certain reviews. They want the information in their hand. They feel the power of they're assisting their mom or dad in the best way possible. It's not that they don't trust the senior placement agent. It's just like, dude, I just met you 5 minutes ago. Matter of fact, the first conversation is, I didn't even meet you in person. I don't even know what you look like. I'm on the phone with you. I assume you have my mom's best interest in mind. However, you might have other interests in mind, which I don't mind when people make money and do different certain things, but TSL puts that power back in the family. So I just love that. Drew, let's get into number 3. Oh, go
Mhm.
ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, but if placement agents watching this might be thinking, well, doesn't that cut me out of the process, right? If I'm giving the phone number to for the family to call the community directly, aren't I cut out completely of the
Right.
process?
Right.
That's that's the beauty of TSL. Is no, actually, when the family calls that community, they're calling a phone number that you control. That essentially it will notify you when that family calls that community. It'll send you an email. It'll have the family's information, their phone number, their name, the time that they called. It'll even give you a summary of what was discussed on the call. And so that becomes your opportunity to follow up with the family, follow up with the community. So it's still your referral that's going through the system, even though we're enabling that direct connection.
That is huge because that's so taboo in this industry. Guys, if you don't know, now if you're a senior placement agent, you do, hopefully you will, you'll find out the hard way if you don't know. But if you're new to the business or just inquiring about the business, you never want somebody to call the community first. You always want to have that conversation with them, get their information. That's what the national companies do. It's what the local placement agents do, get their information. And then you, in turn, give that to the communities, how you get paid. But if the resident or family member contacts the community first, they're going to get in the community's database. And if that happens, that's going to X you out of getting paid. TSL, you're still able to be in control as a senior placement agent, help the families navigate through a process, but they have the option to call the community and you still get paid. That's amazing. So, Drew, let's get into virtual walkthroughs, see before you tour, because like I said, I've been doing virtual tours since the middle to late 2019. But unlike TSL takes it to a whole nother level. I was just doing stuff on my iPhone, and I felt bad because I'd meet residents in skilled nursing facilities that needed, and I thought they needed, I don't think anyone ever expressed this to me, but I just kind of felt bad for them that, they didn't know really where they were going. Right.
Yeah.
They didn't know where they're going to lay their head at night. They didn't know where they're going to be eating stuff. So I just took it upon myself. I'm out taking tours anyway and building relationships. And so I just took my phone and boom, with permission, guys, if you're doing this with permission, don't just do it, incognito and, do that stuff. You don't want to get off on the wrong foot with the community, but with permission, do it. And then I had some information actually on my phone that I could actually show the resident or family member when I met with them. And they tend to like that, that helped open up their eyes. And you can't get the vibe and the feel, stuff like that. I still think, Drew, we need to come up with scratch and sniff or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be powerful. That's AI to the next level. I want to be able to put some glasses on and walk through it.
It's a critical part of the decision. You have to know how the place smells, what sounds are going on there. And the only way to do that is to get in person. But what the virtual walkthroughs allow you to do is to at least get some sense of the space and to be able to walk around. So the idea is you can narrow down your list from 10 possible communities down to the 2 or 3 favorite that you like and that mom or dad likes. The other benefit of virtual walkthroughs is that, oftentimes this is a family decision and you need consensus from other siblings in this equation that maybe they live far away, right?
That's right.
And for those siblings, they're blind. They don't have line of sight into this community. So with virtual walkthroughs, they can feel like they've toured the community themselves, even though they may be at a distance. So it helps the family to reach a consensus more easily than they would if the other siblings had no line of sight.
That's a great point, because at best, the family member that's local could take some pictures. Let's say they did a video. We all know, even if it's myself, I'll put myself doing this, it's never going to be as good. And especially when you see the quality of videos and pictures on TSL, all that on TSL blows away what I was even doing. And there was times I'd even bring my tripod. Most of the time it was just freelance, using my hands. But there was a couple of times I did that. But man, even my videos, I look back going, dude, terrible compared to what's on TSL. So you want to get virtual walkthroughs, see before you tour. And what I like about TSL too, when you get a family, you start talking to them online, because we're going to teach you how to do that, right? And then when you get online with the family, you're able not only just to pull up a virtual tour, because here's the power behind TSL. The virtual tour, I could say, Mr. Customer, Mr. Client, based on the ADLs of mom, based on her behaviors, all this, I would recommend 3 communities. And here are the 3 communities I would recommend and show them virtual tours. They might trust me, and they probably do at that point. However, in the back of somebody's mind could be, why are you just giving me 3 locations and not all the locations? Well, we don't want to just provide a list. This is what I would say, because it was actually true. I don't want to just give you a list like Google and things like that, but I do want to narrow it down as a senior living specialist to give you options. Well, the cool thing about TSL is you can get them on this, and they can actually enter in their care needs, and then the right communities will populate. That's powerful, because it's not doing like, okay, Matt says these 3, the program, the software actually is pinpointing that.
Yeah, so you're able to like really filter down here. We can go to Fresno Clovis area and then filter by care
Look at those
needs.
great locations. Look at those wonderful communities in Fresno Clovis. Guys, I'm giving you a shout out. Free advertisement right there.
So if you take off all the filters, you got 43 to choose from, but maybe, hey, we need a Hoyer lift. Okay, here are the 14 communities that have a Hoyer lift.
And that is powerful, Drew, because I'm telling you, I've said this example before, so I'm not going to repeat all of it, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of communities do not provide a Hoyer lift. It's a liability. They may have done it before and they don't do it today. That's just one option on here. And we're adding more options as we go. I think right now we've got 10. And so we're adding more as we see the need occur, as we hear it from our partners, which they're right behind me, man. There's partners right behind me from all over the country. And they're letting us know, hey, wouldn't this be cool to put up there? But man, isn't that powerful? Instead of as a senior placement agent, let's say you just got started and you think maybe you have a mindset just like the family does. You think all the assisted living communities are the same. And mom is 285 pounds and she needs a Hoyer lift because the 2 caregivers that are at that location that are $135 cannot lift mom appropriately, in the sense that they won't hurt their back, injure themselves, and they can't work anymore. So you need a Hoyer lift. And you think because you're an amateur, not you, Drew, but people out there just getting started, that they're all the same. They all provide a Hoyer lift. And I'm here to tell you that's an emphatic no, they do not. So this will actually help you and assist you in expanding your business.
Yeah, 100%. And so you can kind of dial in these filters to really narrow down your search quickly.
Love it, man. I tell you what, not Google, better. And what I want to say about this, Drew, is not Google. It's better because when I think of Google, and guys, I'm telling you, the whole SEO thing and Google ads is really dying. And this is actually information from Gary Vee. So I'll give a shout out to Gary Vee. He just said it just the other day that all that's dead. Now he knows a lot more about social media than I'll ever know, right? But he says it's dead. So if it's dead, this is not Google. This is better. Google is kind of like clutter. Make it simple. TSL is clarity. Google is a list. TSL is identifying the right community for your loved one, not just a list. And see, on Google, you guys know this. I ain't got to teach you Google. You go on Google and you look for assisted living, you might have 4 or 5 communities populate right to the top. Probably those first 4 or 5 are going to be ads because they're paying to get on the first page, right? And then you have a list of others that are buried and maybe not even on Google. I have some care homes in my territory, Drew, that are fantastic care homes owned by a nurse practitioner, state-of-the-art care home, and they're not on Google. So if you're the average senior placement agent, didn't know any better, or family searching for yourself on Google, you would never identify that location. You would never have the opportunity to present possibly the best possible care for your mom because you couldn't find it on Google. TSL, it's on there.
Yeah, it'll save you hours of research for the families.
Love it, man. Love it. Okay, finally, number 5, built for agents to grow their business. So, Drew, how can agents depend upon TSL to say, you know what, I'm going to grow. I want to expand, because what we're seeing a lot of, and I say a lot, 4 or 5 now. Let me clarify. It's not hundreds, because I told you we're in like 23, 24 territories and all that. But we've seen recently, put it this way, recently people that own franchises are coming on upon TSL, and not only for the senior home business coaching, but man, it's for the vehicle that they get. We're having one senior placement agent per territory, and these franchisees see the vision. They're like, man, I need this. It is almost like, man, my cell phone, right? Back in the day, you really didn't need this, or you didn't, maybe if you're old as I am, you didn't have one until later on. But then now we're kind of at a stage in life where I've got to have this thing. This thing is a necessity. This thing is, I can't live without. I've got to have it. All the sales services could raise their prices to $3,000 a month. I know that would X out a lot of people. They would never do that, I don't think. I still would pay for it because I need it, man. I need this lifeline. And these franchisees, Drew, I'm seeing the energy from them and the vision from them. They're recognizing TSL as the lifeline to the business to expand, and they're going to have an opportunity to dominate their space. And, you know, I hear from even, again, some of my own students, it's like, well, I've got connections. I know people in this industry, you know, they're giving me leads. Guys, I'm telling you, I want to encourage you. Keep those connections. Keep doing the thing you're doing, but don't be short-sighted, because what's going to happen one day is those 5 connections you got, 10 connections, are either going to die off, meaning like they're going to physically die, or they're going to do something else. They're going to retire. You're going to lose those connections. And when your connections start to dwindle, what happens is your business starts to shrink. And you don't want that. This here empowers, going back to that, I think it was the second point, empowering the agents, is this an opportunity to grow your business. So you're one of one. No one in my area is doing this. And all these different partners we have, there's nobody else doing this in their area. This gives you a distinct advantage to be able to do something someone else is not doing. So kind of like when I first started my business, Drew, I'll tell you this real quick, and I won't tell you the 4 areas for the sake of the video, but there's 4 areas that I just said, you know, I want to be different. And I didn't know it was going to be 4 when I first started. I got my marker board out and I started writing down, how can I be different to give me an advantage? And I wrote down these 4 things, and they proved to be successful. And I started to grow, and within 6 to 12 months started to dominate. And now TSL, if I didn't have this, and let's say another senior placement agent in my area had it, they would have an upper hand. They would have an advantage over me because I couldn't provide this. And if they market this correctly and get it all out to the different communities and the families and put the link on their social media and all that and get traffic going, it's endless, man. So it's just, it helps the current senior placement agent to grow. But we just had somebody sign up. I mentioned her name earlier, Kelsey from North Carolina, and she got into senior home business and she saw the vision. I don't know what her husband does. He's very successful at something. And he immediately saw the vision. And that's what I'm seeing, Drew. I'm starting to see people that already have a successful business. They have already spent thousands and thousands of dollars into their company. They're the ones primarily catching the vision. It's ones that kind of like, you know, how much does this cost? I don't really know. And it's like that negative mindset comes up, right? It's kind of like, I thought about this just yesterday, and I'll bounce it back to you. But this is the point I thought about yesterday. I thought about this thing we just bought, and I bought it, and I know you have a copy of it, and so does Josh, in terms of just social media. And the whole thing was like, what, $57, $58. So because I bought that, I get those kind of ads, right? I guess I'm retargeted, right? So I get that. And I really enjoy those people because they're really high energy and they do a successful job of what they do. And what this girl said was, she goes, man, it's amazing. She goes, and she showed the quote or the comment, you know, how good could this really be for only $58? So my thought was this: that would be the same person that if she was selling it for $2,000 would say, oh, it's not worth $2,000. Oh my gosh, that's just overpriced. But because she's selling it for $58, they go, oh, it's well, how much value can you really get from 50? That is a negative mindset. That's plain and simple. It could be $1, you're not buying because it's too low. It could be $3,000 you're not buying because you think it's overpriced and they're price gouging. They're trying to get money, all that stuff. So with the senior placement agents, man, the ones that are really starting to catch the vision, I think of David Hampton last week. He's got a moving company. It's in probate. His wife's in real estate. They're dominating West Houston. He saw the vision, and he's one of the ones that saw it immediately. So anyway, let me ping it back to you. I'm on my rant.
Well,
You've
probably noticed this too, but it seems like all the senior placement agents I talk to, and this has been my experience too, is that the size of their business just depends on the number of leads that are coming in. Mm-hmm. That's the limiting factor.
Yes.
And so if you can increase the leads coming in, you can grow your business. And that's what TSL is designed to do. How do you increase your leads? By giving families the best possible resource for finding senior living in their area. If you can be the best resource, the leads are going to come. And the way you can package that and actually distribute that resource to people is you can take your listing site, and we can show you how to do this. You can put it onto an Android tablet. I think, Matt, you've got one there.
Yeah.
We lock the tablet down into what's called kiosk mode. So it becomes a single purpose. You can't play Candy Crush on it. You can't browse the internet. All you can do, it's single purpose. All it does is shows the senior living options in your area. And that tablet can go into SNFs, it can go into hospitals and be a resource that they can hand to families there. That's something no one else has. And that's how you can massively increase the leads that are coming to you. And that's how you're going to grow your business.
I love it, man. Well, I tell you what, if you know more about this, well, hopefully we've got you excited. I know a number of people are on live with us. Someone's going to be watching the recorded version later. There's a number of links down below. There's a free TSL webinar that you can watch. I don't know I can't remember. It's 45 minutes, an hour long, something like that. You can schedule a consultation call with us, anything like that. And there's other links you can play around with and figure out about this business. And so we're just more into the coaching, but we're into the technology side as well. And Tour Senior Living, man, provides a great opportunity for senior placement agents that are out there that want to expand their current existing business, or if you're brand new and you just want to come in and dominate. I had a lady just the other day. She was like, give me a couple months and, I'm really going to get it. Give me a couple months. And I totally get it. Maybe it was a price issue, whatever it might be, but she was in a certain area of Florida. And I know within a couple months, we'll have somebody there. And I told her, I said, that's just the beautiful thing about TSL is the one placement agent per territory. I just don't want to see you lose out on it, but I understand. And so I don't think she's going to wait 2 months. But if you do, your area may be gone. So we've got a digital map of the United States that Drew and Josh and the team, they put together, and they have the territories all lined out. And so if you want to see that and see if your area is available, reach out to us. Again, schedule a consultation call with me, something like that. We can go over all that information with you. See if TSL is a fit for you, which, if you're in the business, I would say is an emphatic yes. It's almost not even a fit, that kind of a question. It's more of a necessity that you have to have this. Again, going back to the cell phone, I've got to have it. It's not like, well, I don't know if I really want to use my cell phone or a land phone, or if I just want to do email. I don't know. Is this really a fit for me? I'm telling you, if you don't have this, you're not going to be successful in the senior placement business at all. And if you don't have TSL going forward, you are going to be in the area that you're probably going to start to struggle. You're not going to be able to expand. You might be able to exist. You might be able to kind of creep along a little bit and do a little bit of things, plot along, but you're not going to be able to expand to the places that you could with TSL. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. We look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, God bless.